Don't like it, Kyle. Don't like it, Kyle. I don't like it at all. What don't I like? Well, you'll have to wait for the post show on that, of which there is none. Yet. Things are happening. In a constant battle to make us work harder. Because we really don't work right now.
What?
I refer to myself as we. Why, do you think I was talking about you? Welcome into the drive. Welcome in. Kyle, today is a special day. And by special isn't always good.
Did you go big potty on the big potty?
Yes, but I don't want to get into that story either. Hey, when you have kids, one thing to look forward to, finding surprises in the bathroom all the time.
See, your parenting advice is more like establishing a list of pros and cons for me.
Yeah.
Like, that's firmly in the cons section.
Many more cons than pros to having children. Understand that. But then the big pro of, like, I've passed on legacy. I could die tomorrow, and my...
You sound like Tywin.
Right. Like, I guess it's good. They're expensive. They're needy. They're whiny. The amount of awesome things, I'll do this every once in a while, the amount of awesome things I could have done with the money I've spent on kids. Like all the vacations we could go to, the places we could live. You get tied down. You have to worry about, like, oh, this school and that school. Thinking of taking my daughter and putting her in this different school. This is garbage.
And then on the pro side, it's like, yeah, they're cute sometimes.
Yeah. I mean, listen, my wife comes home tonight. She's been gone since Tuesday. She's in Southern California, and it's been me and the kids, which has just been great for them. It really has, because we have a chore board that my wife made.
That you guys built a bonfire around.
Pretty much. Now, I make them go through the chores. I don't check them. I just say, check them off if you did them. And they check them off. And, last night we're watching, I made dinner. It was a cold day, a windy day, a blustery day. And I like to match food generally with the weather.
Of course. You have to.
I had these country-style ribs in the fridge. So I put them in a crock pot. And they were crock potting all day, and then I like to take them out of the crock pot, put them on a tray, and I like to brush barbecue sauce on them and kind of broil them to caramelize the sauce before you serve them. Well, what Daddy forgot was I took the extra spicy barbecue sauce that I saved for when my dad comes over. It's too spicy for me.
Your dad's a big spicy guy?
Yes.
Okay.
Plus, he's 75 years old. These taste buds are probably mostly dead now, so he needs something to kind of spike it up.
Sure.
But my dad fell in love with spicy when he served in Vietnam. When he was over there, he came back. He and my Uncle Steve used to just stare across from each other at the table, and it was like a game of chicken with how much of and they wouldn't get like Tabasco or Crystal or Louisiana. No, right. It would be like straight. It would be a jar with stuff written on it in Vietnamese, and you would reach the spoon in there, and it was just these red pepper chunks in oil.
You had to use like a titanium spoon because a normal dinner spoon would disintegrate.
Would melt.
Yeah.
And just pile that stuff on.
Not FDA approved.
A bit of spice is great. I enjoy spice. Sure. But when it, completely takes over the taste of the dish, and B, it's the spice that keeps on giving.
Mm-hmm.
Old junior high buddy of mine, his name was Justin Moore. Well, he spent the night at my house one time. I was in 7th grade. I'll never forget this.
High school buddies with Justin
I had
Moore.
friends in there. We did this challenge where we each, that same exact Vietnamese labeled jar I was telling you about, we would take, we each took a teaspoonful. And it was, could you eat it and swallow it? And we both took the teaspoon, and we both chewed. We had to keep it in our mouths for 30 seconds and then either swallow or spit it out. And we both swallowed this teaspoon of basically Vietnamese red peppers. I will never forget that moment being not the worst moment of that experience. That moment was terrible. We were drinking milk, and I think we got a thing of sour cream we were just eating raw. It was the after effects, the next day, the day after, that were just horrific.
Right.
Not into it. I don't know. Anyways,
I'm all the way out on that.
So I put that sauce, unbeknownst to me, on the kids, on our ribs.
Not the Vietnamese
No,
red sauce.
just very spicy barbecue sauce.
Got it.
And these poor little kids, man, like they really were hungry, and they really they love ribs, but I'm watching them just pounding milk, little child tears coming down their eyes, looking at me like, Papa, what did you do?
What have you done, Father?
And I said, well, that's for the thing you did. And they said, what did I do? And I said, you know what you did. I didn't know what they did, but I know they did something.
And the fact that they both went, oh, okay.
The fact that they both went, yeah. They spent the night at a friend's house of ours, family friends, and kids play. They were over there Friday night. They spent the night there Friday night. How much of a loser am I? I go home. It's like 10 o'clock at night on a Friday. My wife's in Southern California. My kids are spending the night at a friend's house. What do? I go home and bring the dogs upstairs, and I watch Ken Burns' documentary on Prohibition until I got bored, and then I watched The American President with Michael, what's his face? Michael Douglas.
I've always said Friday night Home Alone is the best time for the Ken Burns Prohibition.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah.
I should have been out. I mean, listen, come on. I'm a young, guy. Family's out of town. We all know what I'm supposed to be doing. Getting too old. Can't even do that. Should have been out of the bars and the clubs. Couldn't do that. I went straight home and watched Ken Burns. So, lastly, today's special because it's the official end of the holidays.
Yep.
That's not a good special. It's a bad special. We had minimum weeks last week and the week before, Christmas, New Year's. It is now official. Summer will be here very soon.
We haven't done a Monday show since December 17th.
I mean, that's like a lot of days. It's like 20 days or something. So, pretty soon it'll be 108. We'll be struggling to find a reason for you to tune in so we can talk about the fifth place hitter on the A's. And how great summer is. We'll be lying to you nonstop about what a great show we have, here's a hint, we do not have great shows from, middle of June till basically September 1st.
Yeah, but NBA playoffs end.
Yeah.
And it's over.
Yeah, we get NBA free agency. We get summer league. There's a handful. There's a sprinkle. There's about 2 weeks of good shows between June and September. That's all coming, Kyle. My house right now is terror. I've got umbrellas and things flying by and the wind, man.
Yeah, it was wild. Spent all day inside yesterday.
It's a good day to be inside.
It was a really, really great day to be inside.
I end on this note. I want to do a public service announcement for everybody. I don't know if you knew this or not. So today in my neck of the woods is garbage day. Okay.
Same.
Did you know, if you are a homeowner, and I think even if you're a renter, you just have to talk to your landlord. You get one free junk day a year where you can put a ton of stuff down, and there's a list of what you can and can't, but pretty much everything but like motor oil and explosives, you can put at the edge of your driveway in like an 8-foot by 8-foot rectangle for free. It's a free junk haul off. And a lot of people don't know that. You can do it once a year. You can do it as many times as you want, but it's $25 a pop. They'll come out and pick it up. But think about that, $25 compared to going to the dump and putting it on your. That's an amazing deal. So if you get stuff in your house, number one, take advantage of your junk days. Second, public service announcement. Did you know you could have as many recycle bins basically as you want? So you have the black trash can. Oh, no, Kyle, I know we got to go. This is important, though. All right, so you just calm down.
Why didn't we do it 2 minutes ago?
Because you were talking about something boring. So you've got your trash cans, which you got to pay for. You have as many recycle bins as you want. I have 4 big blue recycle bins at my house. We don't use them all, but I use many. for free, Kyle.
Cool.
You're not even into it. You're just thinking about a break. We'll take a break. Kyle wants to take a break. When we come back, Morning Brew. Kyle wants to take a break. I just want to talk. Who's serving the listener? Me. Who's keeping our jobs? Kyle.
KHTK is your sports authority.
Shotgun snap, looking middle of the field, under pressure, ball is stripped. Chenanawosu diving for it. There is a scrum. It looks like the Chargers may have it. We'll see. Charger ball! Charger ball! The Bolts are going to win in Baltimore.
That was an unexpectedly good game towards the end. Chargers held on and did what they couldn't do. They did what they couldn't do just a couple weeks ago. Had they been able to beat the Ravens in L.A., they'd have a much different road to the Super Bowl than they do now. Think about this. The Chargers finished 12-4, matched Kansas City Chiefs. Had they been able to beat Baltimore a couple weeks ago, the Chargers would have had home field throughout the AFC playoffs, all the way to Atlanta. They couldn't do it then, but, of course, they go into Baltimore, and that defense, man, and they were moving Derwin James around, their guy, and he was loving it.
He played linebacker yesterday.
Yep. How great is that?
He's so ridiculous. He's so good. The Chargers' edge rush yesterday stood out to me a lot.
Mm-hmm.
With Joey Bosa, Chenanawosu had the big sack at the end of the game. Melvin Gordon not Melvin Gordon. Melvin Ingram is a tremendous player.
You're gonna say he's a national treasure, which is also true. Melvin Ingram's a national treasure.
But yeah, they have so many talented players on that defense, and for all the talk of the Ravens defense going into that game, and they were very good yesterday,
right? The
Chargers defense really stood out to me.
Well, here's the problem. That's not a problem, but we could spend a half an hour on the Morning Brew because Morning Brew number one is NFL playoffs. We've got a lot to talk about. The Texans and Colts. Cowboys slipped by Seattle and what Seattle had to do without their kicker, Sebastian Janikowski. And then last night, Cody Parkey. Cody Parkey and your $3.2 million of guaranteed money next year with the Bears. I think Cody Parkey's going to be off-seasoning in Chicago. How about you?
But he's going to have to Parkey himself somewhere.
Towns, left angle three on the way. Bingo. Just drains it. 27 now for Towns to go along with 15 rebounds.
Oh, and memo to the four texters on the Jiffy Lube text line at 4411. Am I doing New Year resolution? I'm not fighting with all of you, but
smart.
Can you relax with the whole rectangle? It's not 8 feet wide, 8 feet long. It's 4 sides depth. You know what I mean? 8 feet long and it's like 8 feet long, 8 feet wide, and then 4 feet high. Just shut up. Oh, rectangle. That's why you got canned in high school. Hey, how about this, Kyle? Why don't you coach a team, beat the Lakers by 22 in front of your home fans, and then get fired? It's not that simple. Tom Thibodeau probably did a couple other things before now. Minnesota's a mess.
They're a disaster. They needed to fire Tibbs a long time ago.
If you're going to fire Tibbs, fire him before Jimmy Butler goes. Do something. By the way, Jimmy Butler's sure proven to be a great find for Philadelphia.
Difficult personality to deal with. Hey.
Yeah, shocker. You're not watching the live stream.
I did my shocked face.
You did your Kevin from Home Alone face.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, Tom Thibodeau is no longer employed. Be interesting. He was the president and coach of the team. So we got to talk about the Timberwolves. We got to talk about whether or not Tom Thibodeau is going to get another head coaching gig right away. Are we going to see him on the sidelines? We're going to see him as a color commentator. We want to find out what's next for Tibbs. And then, of course, it's 6 degrees of separate Kingsation. We'll see if this affects or how this could affect Sacramento. You know where I'm going in any way, shape, or form. Number 3.
Buddy Hield's working on the left angle. Step back, 21-footer, splash. The sweet sound of a Buddy Buckets splash. Kings lead by 10, 101-91. Clifford and the Magic take timeout.
Okay, so we got to isolate that splash, obviously.
Yeah, definitely. That's happening literally right when we go.
That is amazing.
Splash.
Oh, yeah, splash.
Yeah, that's happening. Hey, it's
What?
6-8. Relax.
Oh, okay.
It's 6:24, and it's time to get ready for the International Sportsman's Expo, January 17th through the 20th at Cal Expo. Get tickets at sportsexpos.com.
Kings versus Magic tonight at 7 o'clock. Schedule now officially opens up. We'll recap the game versus the Warriors, this 4-game losing streak. I'll explain to you at 7:35. Nobody can predict the future, but why, on paper at least, the Kings conversation is going to be far different a week from now than it is right now, as the Kings have a fine week ahead of them. I've got some numbers for you, and, Kyle, we're 2 games away from the halfway point of the season.
Yeah.
How about that?
Flying along.
NFL playoffs coming up next. We've got NFL throughout. We have Kings throughout, both recap and preview. It's a packed show, and we'll be back in 4 minutes right here on Sports 1140 KHTK.
This is Kyle Madsen with your top stories on Sports 1140. The Minnesota Timberwolves fired head coach and team president Tom Thibodeau after their 108-86 win over the Lakers. Assistant coach Ryan Saunders, that's Flip Saunders' son, will take over as the interim head coach. The NFL playoffs kicked off over the weekend. It was the Colts over the Texans, 21-7. The Cowboys topped the Seahawks, 24-22. The Chargers snuck out of Baltimore with a 23-17 win, and then Bears kicker Cody Parkey banged a game-winning 43-yard field goal off the upright to give Nick Foles and the Eagles a 16-15 victory in Chicago. And your Sacramento Kings had yesterday off, but they're back at it again tonight at home against the Orlando Magic. The Kings are looking to snap a 4-game losing skid. Our coverage on Sports 1140 begins with game night at 5:30. Kings Live is at 6:30, and then tip-off with the G-Man is set for 7 o'clock. It is 6:31. Time to call Sierra Pacific for this winter's best deal on a new furnace. Call Sierra Pacific now, 800-551-3040. Those are your top stories. Now back to the drive on Sports 1140 KHTK.
There we go.
Got a reaction? Call Dave now at 339-1140 and 1-800-920-1140.
It's Kyle Madsen selection. You may notice today, and we've been promising this for a while, we have new sounds to go with the show. Our top of the hours are the same, although those might be getting refreshed here soon.
Oh, snap.
Oh, snap. But we have all new songs. We'll still keep some of the old. Listen, Africa is not going anywhere. It'll always be around. But we've injected new life for the new year into our music. And this is one of Kyle's selections. If you don't like it, blame Kyle.
Well, appropriate that you chose this one because this is the song that Queen opened their Live Aid performance with. Bohemian Rhapsody won the Golden Globe for Best Picture.
Yes, it did. I haven't seen...
I'm going to call it controversially.
Why? What should have won?
I think...
That's right.
I think A Star Is Born was probably a better movie than that.
Have you seen them both?
Yeah, The Favorite was on there. I thought The Favorite was a better movie. I don't know. The Queen, I was talking to King's Twitter LVP Bradley Geyser about this last night. And
so terrible. So I'm sure you got hot takes.
Bohemian Rhapsody felt like a 2-hour-long trailer for a TV show about Queen.
Well, I mean,
they just cut out a lot of stuff.
If you love Queen, then you probably love the movie. Unless you really love Queen and then you hate the movie because they got like one thing wrong or this didn't happen before that, it happened after.
You can just say Tom Bailey. It's fine.
Pretty much. Oh, I mean, it was okay.
It was a good movie.
But they actually released this song before. Shut up.
Bohemian Rhapsody was good. I enjoyed it. I would not have picked it for the Golden Globe.
Coming up in the next segment, we'll talk about the Timberwolves firing Tom Thibodeau. I'm going to tell you, Fred Hoiberg is being thrown out there. Number of other names are being circled. We'll speak on what a lot of people are thinking. Is Coach Yeager? Are they going to make a move for him? We love Coach. Blah blah blah. We'll address that. I'll tell you. I'm going to make a prediction. Who I think is going to be the Timberwolves head coach next year. And I'm sure I'm not the first person to say this, but I'll bet you I could get good odds in Vegas. I'll tell you that in the next segment. Football now. We can go over all these games, and we will. We'll go over all of them at length at 8:05. The last game of the night, though, was the Bears and the Eagles. And in 4-down territory, I'm going to ask you, and I'm going to continue to ask you this until they lose, if they do. What we need to do to believe in old BDN. Nick Foles going into the 12-4 Chicago Bears Soldier Field, coming away with a victory. He's like T-Pain, right? And DJ Khaled. All he does is win, Kyle, no matter what.
I suppose.
Got rings on his mind.
If that field goal goes in.
Well, if my aunt had,
no. But let me hang on. Let me talk. If that field goal goes in, we're going, wow, Nick Foles went into Chicago. He threw 2 interceptions. He completed 25 of his 40 passes. Man, he didn't play very well.
Why? And then why is it that I hear how if you'd have told, in fact, who was it? Chris Collinsworth, Al Michaels, had said, if you'd have told me Mitch Trubisky would have played like this,
yeah,
I would have thought they would have won.
Me too.
I mean, numbers aren't anything, but I'm looking.
No, I know, but I'm telling you.
I'm looking at a 77 QBR versus a 49.5 QBR.
QBR is a stupid
It's a
statistic.
stupid stat. Okay.
So the what I'm saying though is, had that field goal gone in, the narrative of what we're talking about is totally different. I know numbers aren't everything because Foles on a 4th down delivered a touchdown when they needed it in the closing minutes, and that was a huge play, and I'm not discounting that at all. But had Cody Parkey made that field goal, we're not talking about Nick Foles today.
Speaking of Cody Parkey not making a field goal.
Yes, please, immediately.
Here's one version.
Patrick Scales on the ball to send it back. Arm extended by O'Donnell. The snap down. Kick up by Cody Parkey.
That was, he made that one, Kyle, by the way. That was the wrong one.
Kicking toward the north end zone at Soldier Field. 3 for 3 on the day. 10 seconds to go. Parkey lines it up. O'Donnell on one knee. Gives him a look. Extends his right arm. Scales sends it back. Placement made. Kick by Parkey from 43. And it hit the upright. It is no good on the crossbar. And the Eagles are celebrating here at Soldier Field.
I don't even know how to respond to that.
Painful.
You see the flight of the ball. It's a little bit crooked, but you never imagine it could hit the upright.
All right, so that was obviously the Bears' call. Here's the Eagles' call of that play.
This is it right here.
Love his voice.
Ball
Very classic radio
is
voice.
snapped, placed, kicked, and it is no good. No good. It is no good, and the Eagles win.
He missed it.
Again, it was off the upright, and the Eagles have won. The Eagles are winning and will win 16-15. What a win for the Eagles as the season continues.
The Eagles are winning, and they will win. They're winners. Kind of sounds like Don Imus if he did play-by-play.
Yeah, a little bit.
So those are fine calls indeed. But as we've long said, Kyle, all announcers except for Grant and Doug and Gary Gerald, all announcers should be banned from sports and replaced with all Spanish announcers, in my opinion, because they just make everything better. They're like choirs in rock songs.
Sure.
They just, so good. So you heard those calls from professional sports announcers. Let's check the Spanish version.
Pie de Cody Parkey. 43 yardas. El snap. Le mete el pie. Distancia, dirección. Le dio el poste. No, falló. No, señor. No, señor. No, señor. No, señor. No, señor. No, señor. Los Eagles se van con la victoria. ¡Ay, papá! No, señor. No, señor. Chicago, Chicago. Nos vamos para New Orleans. Filadelfia gana el partido. Le dio al poste. No, señor.
And, you know, first up, before you say, why do you love the Spanish calls so much? All it is them screaming. No, there's an artistry to it.
Yes.
And did you notice that even in the Spanish call, where was the color analyst? Oh, he wasn't saying anything. He didn't step on the call.
Nope.
Just let it go.
Hey, earlier you mentioned Fred Hoiberg. Where did Fred Hoiberg used to coach?
Chicago, Chicago.
Yeah, we're going to have fun with that. Cody Parkey hit the post this year twice as much as the next guy. It was Mason Crosby and somebody else hit 3 posts. Parkey hit 6, including 4 in one game. And I don't know. Do we just count it as hitting 1 post last night? Because he technically hit 2. I mean, he hit the left crossbar.
No, I think it's what it initially hits.
Yeah. I mean, you should get extra credit for that, though.
Yeah, I think it's statistically harder to hit the post than it is to kick it through the uprights.
Not for him.
Here's at least, I think I would rather, if I'm going to have a struggling kicker, I'd rather have him banging kicks off the crossbar, or off the goalpost, I mean, instead of just missing way left or way right.
I mean,
because he drilled the kick before the timeout.
Yes, he did, and congratulations to Coach Peterson. That's why you iced the kicker.
Yep,
because he nailed that. He nailed that. Now, here's what's crazy, Kyle. It all comes down to this. The entire season comes down to this. And NFL football is approximately 11 inches tip to tip. Hey, now, think about that. Ball comes down on the crossbar. If it's just inches further back, you're going left upright, crossbar, and through, and the Bears are on their way, and you can bitch about Nick Foles all day long. Think about the amount of lives that have been changed.
Bitch about Nick Foles?
You don't like him. You hate Nick Foles. What? You have a one of those millennial what do you call it when you vendettas against poor Nick Foles.
Sure.
Have you read his book?
No.
Let me tell you about his book. No clue. Haven't read it, but I'll bet you it's good.
I didn't know you knew how to read.
I can't even read.
Roasted you.
Yeah. A lot of people are chiming in that the kick was tipped. Cody Parkey.
Better than
Cody Parkey
having a tip kicked, I guess.
Was booed off the field. And we'll break with this. He's guaranteed $3.2 million next year from the Chicago Bears. That's a good amount for a kicker. But they may have to eat it. No, senor! By the way, I saw another stat, too. Pat Still from the Pat and Tom Show showed me. Robbie Gould, since he's left the Bears, I think is 83 of 87. 83 of 80. It's 80-something of 80-something field goals.
Yeah. Led the league in field goal percentage this year.
Job, Bears.
I think he's 73 of 75 at the Niners.
We'll take a break. When we come back, the Wolves fired
75 to 78. I don't know.
Tom Thibodeau. I want to try to figure out what's next for him. Are we going to see Tibbs on a bench as an assistant? And I'll tell you who I think their next coach is going to be next year.
Yeah, it's time to get ready for the International Sportsman's Expo, January 17th through the 20th at Cal Expo. Get tickets at sportsexpos.com.
We're back with Tom Thibodeau, the Wolves, and how it will or will not affect your Sacramento Kings right here on The Drive. Sports 1140 KHTK. Welcome back. 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. You can text us at 44-1140. First, before we get into our segment, a word from Kyle Madsen. Oh, no? I saw you holding a piece of paper. Are you bringing it in? Good. So it'll be a word from me. We have something going on today, and you're going to be hearing about this. My goodness, you'll be hearing about this quite a bit, but for a good reason. You know, radio, thank you, Kyle. You do not need to bow. It's a very special contest brought to you by many. And let's just be honest. What are radio contests? They're bribes. We're bribing you to listen, and we hope you continue to listen. And in addition to our wonderful content, we also want to give you things. That's what we do. Well, Kyle, I can tell you that we are always very involved with the big game, and we've decided to put our resources behind, along with our friends, behind you this year, the listener.
Oh, I thought you meant me.
No, not you. KHTK is bringing you the ultimate big game dream party presented by Mel, wrapped in Honda. All right, so check this out. This is awesome. Here's what you win. Here's what our grand prize winner is going to win here. A 65-inch television,
That's a great prize.
Where are you going to watch that TV, though? How about lounging in your $2,500 worth of Lazy Boy furniture? Yeah, you heard me right.
So you get both things.
Yeah, so
that's a great prize.
Our big game dream party presented by Mel Rapton Honda, a 65-inch television, and $2,500 in Lazy Boy furniture.
Man,
all right.
That's awesome.
Moving on. What? Oh, I didn't turn it over. Wow.
That doesn't work when you're on video.
In addition to that, you will also get a $500 gift card to Sprouts Farmers Market. So you get the TV, you get the furniture for the living room or wherever you're putting this TV, and then to feed the people coming over, you get $500 from Sprouts Farmers Market. Now,
I'm quitting this job just so I can be eligible to enter in this.
Okay, well, it's been about a year and a half since you joined us. That's a record. Monday through Friday of this week.
Oh, it has been a year and a half. Huh?
Yeah, wow. So all week long, you can qualify 3 times a day. You should tune in all the time, but tune in at 8:40, 1:40, and 3:40. Those are the times. So write them down on the back of your hand. When you hear the code word, I'm not telling you what it is. Different code word every day. Text it into 441140 or enter it at khdk.com to qualify. All qualifiers this week, you're not losers. You win a pair of lift tickets to Sierra at Tahoe. You got to be 21 or over to enter. Details at khtk.com. How about that?
Excited for the game that is of abnormally large size.
And rumor has it there will be a few of us there to personally deliver it to you, by the way, on the morning of the big game.
On the morning of the not small game.
Notice how I said a few of us. Not a few of them, a few of us. There's a hint there. Could be.
Don't look at me.
Blown away by awesome celebrity power delivering things to your house. Also, I might go. I think Damien's going, so there's your awesome celebrity. I'll help him carry things. Actually, I'll carry things. He'll be directing traffic. Okay, I'm not carrying anything, but I'll show up.
All right, I'm not going to place odds on whether he wears a turtleneck.
Oh,
I'm placing odds on the size of the turtleneck.
Oh, it's going to be huge.
Is it normal? Are we going like 1.5 inch turtleneck, or are we going like up above the chin 4-inch turtleneck?
It's going to look like he's wearing a barrel.
I love Damien.
Hey, the Timberwolves have fired Tom Thibodeau. Things just didn't work out. Expectations didn't shake hands with reality, and here we go. The Timberwolves beat the Lakers by 20-plus last night at home, 22 to be exact. Thibodeau was informed after the game that leaves an opening for team president as well as head coach. It's interesting to think, now that Thibodeau has crashed and burned in both Chicago and Minnesota, will he be on a sideline as a head coach next, or is he going to have to do some time as an analyst, of which I don't think Thibodeau's a tremendous analyst? Is he going to have to be an assistant coach? Will he go to college? Very interesting way. This is once upon a time one of the hottest prospects, if not the hottest coaching prospect in the NBA. They ran his players into the ground. They didn't like him. Nobody likes. You can't judge any of the players that are currently playing for Tom Thibodeau, which is why Andrew Wiggins has always fascinated me, because none of them like playing for him, and they could be a lot better without him.
I feel like he'd do well in college because he gets guys for 1, maybe 2 years, teaches them defense.
Yep.
This is my defense.
I see what you did. So Fred Hoiberg is strongly rumored to be the next head coach. Ryan Saunders has taken over for the rest of the year. Hoiberg wants to stay in the NBA, apparently, although UCLA seems to be calling. There's been some other names thrown out. A lot of Kings fans are looking at Dave Yeager, and we'll talk about that more at length at 7:35 and why I don't think that's going to happen. Would you like me to tell you, Kyle, who the next head coach of the Minnesota – see, this is my prediction.
Yeah, I would love for you to tell me.
The next head coach of the Minnesota Timberwolves is going to be the same head coach they have right now. Ryan Saunders is getting this job. I'm going to tell you right now, 32-year-old Ryan Saunders, son of Flip Saunders, is getting this job. And in 30 seconds, I'll give you why. Number one, there's going to be an uptick for these players and this team with the load of Tom Thibodeau
Right.
removed from the situation.
The Tom Thibodeau load.
Thank you. Saunders is going to get credit for that, number one. Number two, he's going to become a darling in the NBA, 32 years old, and right now people love Sean McVay. They love these young kids. He takes over for Luke Walton, who's 38, as the youngest coach. But let's not also forget, in addition to all of that, Glenn Taylor is a highly loyal dude. You'll hear announcers all day when it comes to that. He appreciates history, I guess is what I should say.
Glenn Taylor doesn't know much about basketball, according to Kevin Durant.
Yeah, I would say unless you're Kevin Garnett.
Or Garnett.
Yeah, I know what you meant. Saunders was born and raised in and around Wayzata, Minnesota. His father was the coach, and many of you know Flip Saunders at University of Minnesota, and then Minnesota. Flip Saunders' legacy with the Timberwolves he's like the Timberwolves version of George Halas almost with the Bears. He is a legend. He is revered. And I think the combination of the improvement for the team that I'm going to go ahead and predict now this year, along with the storyline and the Cinderella aspect of the whole thing, I know Hoiberg's going to get rumored. A lot of guys are going to get rumored, but you've got an entire half of the season for Ryan Saunders. I think you're going to see him get a contract. That's going to be my dark horse pick, which I don't think is that big of a dark horse for the Minnesota Timberwolves head coaching job. We'll take a break. Let's talk Kings in the next segment. We haven't really touched on them. Kings fell to the Warriors. We got the Peckus play of the game, and we'll look ahead to tonight a little bit. And at 7:35, we're back in a couple at Sports 1140 KHTK.